On our top story, Syria. Michael Stevens is a researcher at the Royal United Services Institute. He joins me here on set. How will the delay in a strike, a possible strike, change the effectiveness of possible US action further down the line?
It was interesting that in his speech yesterday, President Obama said, "My military advisors have told me if I strike today, tomorrow or in a month, it will have the same strategic effect." I'm not sure how he came to that conclusion, actually, given the fact that by declaring that there would be a congressional vote, he's now saying that there's going to be no military action until at least September the 9th, which means Bashar al-Assad is sitting in Damascus going, "Okay, well, I've got until September the 9th to do basically whatever the hell I want." And then there's going to be no reprisal until after that point, in which case I can realign my forces, I can hide my generals away, I can make sure that all the key stuff that I need to continue this war isn't targeted by the Americans, but I've got maximum usage out of them for the next week.
Why did he step back from military action? After all, he said, you know, our credibility's on the line, he's crossed a red line, everybody's gearing up, everybody's putting on the tin helmets.
It is strange, isn't it, that Obama had come up with quite a strong speech yesterday, saying he believed in a military solution, and then said, well, actually, I don't believe that because I'm going to go to the Congress about it, even though I have the
executive
executive
got all
authority.
democratic, didn't it?
Well, it is, and I think, you know, as we were talking about yesterday, I mean, it's a question of credibility. It's a question of the sort of political leaders in both the United Kingdom and the United States thinking back to 2003, saying, well, we advocated for a strike in the Middle East, for a war. No one really went with that information that we provided at the time, which turned out to be problematic. I think we need to give some, at least, allusion to the fact that there's a democratic process going on. It's sort of trust building, if you like.
So he changed his mind. The Syrian opposition say the decision would embolden the Assad regime to carry out yet more attacks. Is that likely?
Yeah, I agree with that statement, actually. And I think across the Gulf as well, that is the perception regional actors have of what Obama did yesterday. He might have talked tough, but in reality it was viewed as quite weak. And it was viewed as basically saying, yes, okay, Bashar, you know, you've committed some of these atrocities. We're not doing anything just yet. We'll have a talk about it. We'll have a think about it. You keep doing what you're doing.
Foreign ministers from the Arab League are meeting today. Is that important?
Well, the Arab League's made their position quite clear. They believe that President Bashar al-Assad was responsible for this chemical weapons attack. I don't see them moving further than sort of political measures here. They can't mobilize troops. I don't think they could mobilize any type of, you know, consistent use of force to sort of change the conflict past what Qatar and Saudi Arabia have already decided to do. Then they've got divisions with Iraq as well. The Lebanese are a bit problematic because of their own internal politics. I don't think the Arab League's really a vehicle for getting this situation moved forward, other than giving the West some legitimacy to strike.
Okay, what about America's oldest ally, their new best friend, France?
Yes,
for 24 hours.
The
anyway.
Freedom Prize.
The Freedom Prize, exactly. That she's eating spaghetti monkeys. Yeah, because Hollande did say we must strike back. What did he say? We must punish Syria.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. The French have had quite a lot of success in muscular foreign policy. I mean, we saw it in Côte d'Ivoire and in West Africa, and in Mali recently they seem to have had some success. In Libya they've done well. And so I think at the moment, you know, there's this sort of consensus in France that actually muscular foreign policy works, even if the public aren't that supportive of it. What's interesting in France that's different between the United States and the United Kingdom is that there tends to be more of a consensus in the political class about what to do in foreign policy. If it's muscular and if it's in our interest, it tends to be supported, whereas in Britain and the US we have this sort of hand-wringing about whether it's moral, whether it's justified, whether we can sort of support that given what happened in Iraq. The French don't have the Iraq hangover, so in this particular question they can say it's a moral decision, and not only that, in the last 10 years we believe that we've taken the right decision on the Iraq issue as well. So if there's evidence of chemical weapons here, we're going in, because when there was evidence before that turned out to be false, we didn't. So it gives them the legitimacy to act.
Okay, Michael Stevens, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
The German news magazine Der Spiegel said Al Jazeera was hacked by the National Security Agency. The US intelligence